Good evening, everyone. I'm Rudula from Department of Agronomy, School of Agriculture, SR University. Today, we are going to discuss about the topic cropping system. Cropping system, it is an important component of the farming system. Cropping system is an order in which crops are cultivated on a piece of land over a fixed period and their interaction with the different farm resources. And the main objective of the cropping system is efficient utilization of all the resources like land, water, solar radiation, and nutrients, and maintaining stability in production and obtaining higher net return is the main aim of the cropping system. So under cropping system, we are also having cropping pattern. Cropping pattern means the proportion of area under various crops at a point of time in a unit area. If cropping pattern indicates the yearly sequence and spatial arrangement of crops and follow on a given area. So what are the factors determining cropping system? Availability of resources and managerial skill of farmers suggested for each crop or variety and in crop combination, ecologically practicable pest and disease control methods, and interaction of the existing and chosen crop or introduced or individually or in combination. So the main factors are availability of resources, managerial skill. Next is pest and disease control methods. And the third is interaction of the existing crops. Either it is individual crops or interaction between any two crops. Next is economics of a cropping system or infrastructure facilities and also operational factors. Next is factors determining the cropping pattern. First is climate, next is topography, and the third one is soils. So under climate, we have atmospheric temperature, occurrence of rainfall, and under rainfall also we have quantity of rainfall and period of rainfall. And under topography, first is altitude, that is the height, and the slope that will decide the crops. And also the cropping pattern of the locality will also be depend on the topography of that area. Next is different types of soil, that is black cotton soil, red soil, laterite soil, alluvial soil, or xerozoic soils, or chestnut or brown soils. So mainly for the black cotton soils, cotton may be considered. Next, for the red soils, sorghum, red gram, or groundnut. Laterite or lateritic soils, we may cultivate either rice or tea plantation. And for alluvial soil, we can cultivate any type of crops as it is the most fertile soil. Next is cropping patterns in India. So India may be broadly divided into 5 agricultural regions. So the first one is rice region, second is wheat region, and the third is millet region, and fourth is temperate Himalayan region, and fifth is plantation cropping region. So in the rice region, mainly northeastern India, southwestern India, and west coast regions of India. And in the wheat region, northwest and central India. And in the millet region, that is mainly sorghum, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, and Deccan Plateau and Southern Peninsula. Temperate Himalayan region comes under Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, and Uttar Pradesh. And plantation crop regions comes under mainly Assam and hills of South India. So next is rice-based cropping system. That is Kharif season cropping patterns. So first is rice-based cropping system. So on all India basis, 30 rice-based cropping systems has been found. And rice is grown in sequence with either cotton. So rice after cotton or pulses or gingerly or jute, wheat, sugarcane, banana, turmeric, betel, wine, etc. And millet-based cropping system. So first is maize-based cropping system. Maize is grown in sequence with either sugarcane, groundnut, cowpea, cotton, and in India, 12 cropping systems were identified with maize, and sorghum-based cropping system are 17 patterns were in practice in India. And pearl millet-based cropping system are 20 cropping systems And both sorghum and pearl millets are grown mostly under identical environmental conditions. And sorghum and pearl millet are grow with red gram or else groundnut. And cotton-based cropping systems. On overall India basis, 16 cropping patterns are identified with cotton, and it is grown along with groundnut, sorghum, minor millets, rice, sugarcane, and tobacco. Next is Rabi season cropping patterns. Among Rabi crops, wheat, barley, oats, Bengal gram, sorghum are the main base crops. Wheat and green gram based cropping system. On all India basis, 19 cropping systems were identified with wheat and 7 with gram. And wheat and gram are grown in sequence with maize, rice, sorghum, millets, groundnut, pearl millet, cotton, etc. Rabi sorghum based cropping system, that is 13 cropping patterns were identified with Rabi sorghum, which are in sequence with pulses, oilseeds, rice, tobacco, groundnut, etc. So different type of cropping systems. First is monocropping. Second is intensive cropping. So in intensive cropping only, we have two more different types, that is multiple cropping, and next is intercropping. And third is mixed cropping system, and fourth is multi-storied cropping, and fifth is crop rotation. So first we are going to learn about monocropping. So this is where the field is used to grow only one crop season after season. So monocropping is a condition where in the agriculture land only one crop is grown every year. Like if we choose chili, so next season in the same area we'll choose chili again. So there is no different crops are sown, only one crop that is sown over entire year. It is monocropping is also known as solid planting. And what are the disadvantages of using monocropping? Mainly, it is difficult to maintain the soil cover, and it also encourages pests, diseases, and weeds, and it also increases the damage of the soil structure, and also it reduces the soil fertility. So by using only single crop every season, there is more chance of pest infestation and also disease infestation. Next is intensive cropping. So intensive cropping means it is the process of growing a number of crops on the same piece of land during the given period of time. So in the same piece of land at a particular time, many types of crops are grown. So such type of cropping is known as intensive cropping. So under intensive cropping, we have first is multiple cropping and then is intercropping. So first we are going to learn about multiple cropping. So growing two or more crops in the same field is called multiple cropping. So in the multiple cropping, we grow different types of crops on the same land in the same year. And there will be no particular uh, row format in the multiple cropping. And the intensification of cropping is in temporal and spatial dimensions. So intensification mainly depends on temporal, that is the time dependent, and spatial means in space. Double, triple, and quadruple cropping refers to growing 2, 3, and 4 crops respectively on the same land in a year in a sequence. So, what you call is double cropping means if you could grow two types of crops in the same piece of land in a same year, that is called double cropping. And if you grow three crops, it is triple. If you grow four, it is quadruple. Next is sequential cropping. Multiple cropping may be one of the following types, growing two or more crops in a sequence. That means in succession on same field in an year. So one after the other, like one season, if one crop is completed, then it is followed by another crop in the same area, but different season and in a same year. That is called sequential cropping. So succeeding crop is planted after the preceding crop has been harvested. So once a crop is harvested in a season, then immediately it is followed by another crop. And crop intensification is only in the time dimension. So in sequential cropping, time is only same. It's not in the space. Example, rice cotton, ragi cotton, sorghum. Next is relay cropping. It refers to planting of the succeeding crop before harvesting of the preceding crop. So in this relay cropping, even before the crop is harvested, the other crop is sown. So the harvest time and the sowing time of both the crops are same. So such type of cropping system is known as relay cropping. So for example, we take a rice black gram or rice lathyrus or lucerne, rice berseem and cotton berseem. Here are the seeds of black gram, lathyrus, lucerne or berseem or broadcasted in standing rice or cotton crop just before they are ready for harvesting. So when once the rice crop gets ready for the harvest, you can take the seeds of black gram or either lathyrus or lucerne or berseem, and you can broadcast it before the rice is harvested. So thus the field is never left fallow. So the main objective of this is to uh, not to keep the land barren after the harvest of one crop, and also there is also no gap at all to between two successive crops. Next is ratoon cropping or ratooning. It refers to raising a crop with regrowth coming out of the stalk or stalks after harvest of the crop, although not necessarily for grain. So um it is the cropping system where the before crop is starting to regrow again. So such type of cropping system is known as ratoon cropping, and it is mainly shown in case of sugarcane, banana, or sorghum. And overlapping system of cropping. In this system, the crop is harvested in phases and vacated area is sown by next crop. Example are forage crops. Part of the crop is harvested for feeding to cattle and vacated area is sown with alder. For example, if you take the forage crops, for example, if you take the forage crops, if one part of the forage crop is already ready to harvest, you can cut that mature the plants, and you can use that area for growing another crop. So such type of cropping system is known as overlapping system cropping. Next is intercropping. So growing two or more crops simultaneously on the same field is known as intercropping. And in crop intensification is both in temporal as well as the spatial dimensions. There is intercropping competition all or part of crop growth opposed to intercropping. Sole cropping is growing one crop alone in pure standard normal density. So it is further divided into mixed cropping, row intercropping, strip intercropping, and relay intercropping. So intercropping means growing of two or more crops simultaneously on the same field. So their cropping intensification is both temporal, time-wise, and also spatial in the same field. And intercropping is of four types. First is mixed intercropping, second is row intercropping, third is strip intercropping, and fourth is relay intercropping. So first we'll study about mixed intercropping. Mixed intercropping means growing two or more crops simultaneously with no distinct row arrangement. So row arrangement is not distinct, and you can grow any number of rows of particular crop. There is no particular count. And it is all in mixed intercropping may be also considered as mixed cropping. And examples are sorghum, pearl millet, and cowpea are mixed and broadcasted in a rain-fed condition. So in mixed intercropping, you can mix whatever seeds you want to sow in that particular field, and you can broadcast it. Next is strip intercropping. So growing two or more crops simultaneously in strip wide through enough to permit independent cultivation, but narrow enough for the crop to interact agronomically. Like you can take a particular land, you can divide that land into any equal parts, and you can give particular strip of the land to one crop and the other strip to the other crop. So dividing the land into strips and sowing crops is called strip intercropping. For example, if you take groundnut and red gram, you can give 6 equal parts to groundnut and 4 you can give to red gram. Next is row intercropping. So growing of two or more crops simultaneously where one or more crops are planted in rows. So you can give here the particular row arrangement, like maize plus green gram. You can give one row of maize and then next row of green gram, and next like that it continues. Or you can give 6 rows of groundnut and then one row of red gram. That depends on the crop you choose. And next is relay intercropping. Growing two or more crops simultaneously during the part of this life cycle of each. That means a second crop is planted before the first crop has reached its reproductive stage, but before it is ready for harvest. Such type of cropping system is known as relay intercropping, and often it is also called as relay cropping. Also, relay intercropping is also known as relay cropping. So in this, you can grow two or more crops, but the second crop or the third crop is simultaneously grown along with the first crop after the first uh, crop has reached its reproductive stage. So when flowering of the first crop occurs, you can get ready to sow the second or third crop that you want to sow in that particular area. So here are the picture of row cropping, strip cropping, and relay cropping and mixed cropping. So in the row cropping here, first row is one crop, in the next one is the second crop. And here in the strip, entire this block is belong to one crop, next is another crop, and next is the another one. So here, first and second crop are not interacted with each other in order to uh, maintain cultural practices. Next is the relay cropping. So here, first crop is ready at its reproductive stage, and this area you can sow the other second crop. And mixed cropping is growing different types of crops in the same piece of land. Next is principles of intercropping. What are the principles related to intercropping? First is the associating crop should be complementary to the main crop. And next is subsidiary crop should be of shorter duration and of fast growing habits to utilize early slow growing period of the main crop. And the third should be the components crop should require similar agronomic practices. So if you select any two types of crops for intercropping, they should have similar agronomic practices, and erect growing should be intercropped with the cover crop. So if you are choosing one as the tall growing plant, the other should be the shorter one. And if you are choosing one as the longer duration, you can choose the other as the shorter duration one. And erosion permitted crop should be intercropped with the erosion resistant crop. So if one crop you are selecting as erosion permitting crop, the other should be erosion resistant crop. And the component crop should have different rooting patterns. Like if you choose short depth roots, you can as one crop, you have to choose shallow rooted as the component crop. So next is what are the types of intercropping based on interactions. So first is parallel cropping. Under this, two crops are selected which have different growth habits and have a zero competition between each other, and both of them express their full yield potential. Example, black gram with maize, soybean with cotton. So you here parallel cropping, both of them should not have any competition between them, and both of them should have equal yield potential. Like it should not disturb the other plant. For example, you can grow black gram with maize and also soybean with cotton. And next is companion cropping. Usually a short duration crop is grown along with the long duration as a companion crop. The base crop should get the company of another crop for a certain period. Example, cotton plus black gram or cotton plus green gram. Next is synergistic cropping. Here, the yield of cropping grown together is found to be higher than the yield of the other pure crops on unit area. Example, sugarcane and potato. So here, yield of one crop should be found to be higher than the other crop. So here, yield of sugarcane should be more compared with potato. Next is what are the advantages of the intercrop? So according to intercropping, we will get additional yield on the same land because we uh, grow two different types of crops. So 1 plus 1 will get additional income. Next is additional care is not needed for the companion crop because principal crop supplement the requirement of the companion crop. So here additional supplement is also not needed. Next is helps to restore soil fertility if legumes are included as intercrop. For example, if you select cereals plus legumes, then it is helpful in the restoration of the soil fertility and increases the weed as well as the soil erosion is possible. So intercropping also reduces the weed intensity as well as the soil erosion also. And intercropping produce shade and support to other crop. So if you choose a short height plant along with the long height plant, then shade is also provided. Next is practiced as an insurance against crop failure under rain-fed conditions. So under rain-fed conditions, there is a possibility of crop failure. So if you choose two types of crops on the same land, so risk mitigation will be done. Next is utilizes resources efficiently and productivity is increased. So if you grow two or more crops or two crops in the same land, resources can be used efficiently and along with the productivity. So intercropping with cash crops is highly profitable. Cash crops like cotton or sugarcane, uh, profits are more. Next is what are the differences between the intercropping and mixed cropping. So the main objective is utilize the space left between two rows of main crop. That is the main objective of the intercrop. So what is the objective of the mixed cropping? To get at least one crop under favorable condition. And more emphasis is given to the main crop in case of intercropping. So in case of mixed cropping, all crops are cared equally and there is no competition between both the crops in intercropping. There is competition between all crops in mixed cropping. And intercrops are of short duration and are harvested much earlier than the main. And mixed crops are almost of the same duration. And sowing time may be of same or different. And in mixed cropping, it is same for all the crops. Crops are sown in different rows without affecting the population of the main crop. When in case of mixed cropping, without considering the population, you can sow different types of crops. Next is most efficient cropping systems of India. So in monocropping, you can choose rice, wheat, maize, sorghum, groundnut, mustard, red gram, cowpea, soybean, sugarcane, cotton. And in case of crop sequence, you can either choose rice wheat, maize wheat, groundnut barley, pearl millet, mustard, gram mustard, cotton wheat, sorghum, gram sesame, chickpea, soybean, safflower, sugarcane pulses. And in case of intercropping, you can choose wheat plus raya, maize plus peas, pearl millet plus gram, toria plus gobi sarson, maize plus groundnut, sorghum plus red gram, and sunflower plus cotton. Multi-storied cropping. Growing crops of different heights in the same field at the same time. So crops of different heights are selected in case of multi-storied cropping, and it is usually practiced in orchards and also plantation crops. Examples are sugarcane, potato, and onion, coconut, pepper, cocoa, and pineapple. And these is the example of the multi-storied cropping. You can see three different types of crops. Next is crop rotation. Crop rotation refers to recurrent session of crops on the same piece of land, either in a year or over a long period of time. Crop rotation with an objective to get maximum profit from least investment without impairing the soil fertility. This may be also defined as the repetitive cultivation of an ordered succession of crops on the same land, and one cycle may take 1 or more years to complete. Next is, what are the principles of crop rotation? The leguminous crops like pulses, beans, peas, groundnut, and Bengal gram should be grown before non-leguminous crops because legumes fix nitrogen into soil and add more organic matter to the soil. And taproots system should be followed by fibrous system. And next is more exhaustive crop like potato, sugarcane, maize should be followed by less exhaustive crops like oilseeds and pulses. Because exhaustive crops need more inputs such as better tillage, more fertilizers, greater number of irrigation, etc. And selection of the crop should be demand based. The crop of the same family should not be grown in the succession because they act as alternative host for insect pests and diseases. And on slopy lands, alternate cropping of erosion promoting and erosion resisting crops should be adapted. And under dry land or irrigated conditions, drought tolerant crops. In low lying and flood uh, prone areas, water stagnant tolerant crops should be used. It should be adaptable to the existing soil, climatic, and economic factors. The sequence of cropping adapted for any specific area should be based on proper land utilization. And what are the advantages of the cropping system? First is it increases the yield of the crop due to maintenance of the proper physical condition of the soil, and also it increases its organic matter content. And rotation of the crops helping in saving nitrogenous fertilizers because leguminous plants will fix atmospheric nitrogen. And also rotation helps in the weed control and also the pest control because weeds and pests are very choosy about the land crop land which they attack. When the crop is changed, then the cycle is broken. So hence pesticide cost is also reduced. And there is regular flow of income over the year, and proper choice of the crops in rotation helps to prevent soil erosion, and it supplies needs of farmers and his cattle. Next is different crop rotations that we follow. First is cotton and groundnut, rice, gram or sunflower, hybrid jowar, wheat, jowar or gram, jowar, sunflower, groundnut, sunflower, potato, groundnut, groundnut, wheat, vegetables, sorghum, wheat, green gram, cotton, groundnut, sunham, sugarcane, and groundnut. So, types of rotation. So, 1 year rotation, you can take maize, mustard, rice, wheat. Maize, next is 2 year rotation, maize, mustard, sugarcane, fenugreek, maize, potato, sugarcane, peas. And 3 year rotation, you can take cotton, oat, sugarcane, peas, maize, wheat. So, now come to the conclusion. So crop rotation is a fundamental agricultural practice that is important for sustainable development. And in what way it helps in the sustainable agriculture? That is, it improves the soil health. So crop rotation can improve soil fertility, soil structure, and the microbial activity. It can also help in the prevention of the nutrient depletion, and crop rotation also helps in combating land degradation. So crop rotation helps to preserve soil health, which makes the soil more resilient to erosion and desertification. Increase biodiversity. Crop rotation can promote biodiversity and below the ground. So crop rotation also helps in the control of pest and also helps in the control of the weeds. And crop rotation can help to prevent and control pests, diseases, and also weeds. Crop increasing in the crop yield is also the major advantage of the crop rotation. Crop rotation can improve crop yield by optimizing soil health, nutrient availability, and pest control. It is also reducing the cost. Like crop rotation can reduce the cost of the chemical inputs, increase food production, and crop rotation can help to increase food production and secure it for the growing population. So in that way, crop rotation is helping in the sustainable development. So in this lecture, we have learned about different types of intercropping, different types of cropping systems, and what is the major difference between the intercropping and the mixed cropping. And we also discussed about crop rotation, different types of crop rotation in practice in India, and also the major cropping system that are prevail in India, and major regions which are using rice cropping system, and also what are the advantages of intercropping, and also what are the advantages of crop rotation and how it is helpful in the sustainable development. Thank you.